Hello, hello, welcome Siege Budgepers. I'm Tim.
And I'm Brandon.
How you doing tonight, Brandon?
I'm doing great, Tim. How are you?
I'm doing good, dude. I'm doing good. I'm good. So tonight, continuing our cEDH Metabuster series, beginner cEDH Metabuster series, I wanted to go over a new Capenna commander. This deck is curated by a gentleman by the name of Buchan. His also name is Brandon. I will link this in the description below. This is Rocco. I am not going to butcher that last bit. It's the Cabaretti Caterer? Caterer. Okay, Caterer. That is a weird way of spelling caterer, I think, but probably not. The reason why I wanted to go over this deck is because I think it's one of the best Naya decks that's really come out. What Rocco does is for a red, a white, and a green, and X, when it enters the battlefield, you can search your library for a creature card, put it in a play. It's a Court of Calling in the command zone. Now, Court of Calling actually sees quite a bit of play in the non-blue decks that have green, especially on creature-based combos. And even in, like, Dawnwaker, some versions run it. So having it just accessible all the time is pretty incredible. So it gives you just access to, like, a very compact win condition package. And it gives you two of them. So the first one is you get Food Chain. So you have Enlightened Tutor. You can cast your commander, tutor out your Academy Erector, kill it. There's like Eldritch Evolution, Birthing Pod, different stuff like that. And then you can start assembling and then you can tutor out Squee as well. You just exile your commander, make 4, exile, you've already exiled you've already taken care of, you got a couple of dorks, and then it just starts tutoring out all your Food Chain pieces for you. All right. So that's really good. And then you also have, because of that same like Court of Calling in the command zone, you could just pay 5 mana and get a Dockside.
Oh shit.
Yeah, right? It's almost like Cody, but for creatures. That might be a little hyperbolic, but it's really good. And then if you have a way to like bounce Rocco or reset Rocco, then you just go get the other half of your combo. You go get a meal. And now you've got a meal Dockside assembled. You know what I mean?
That's pretty good.
Or you get Temur Sabertooth, and now you just, not only are you the problem with the Temur Sabertooth is you now have to make 5 treasures instead of just 4 to go infinite, with at least for mana production. But what's nice about the Temur Sabertooth is that it will reset all the ETB triggers on your creatures. So every time, so you can just get more stuff with Rocco. You can get more stuff with Imperial Recruiter. You can do Eternal Witness loops, like all kinds of stuff. You can play Skyclave Apparition over and over and over again. And then use Rocco to just tutor out a Walking Ballista and kill everybody with all your infinite mana. It's pretty good. You could also add a third line where you just do Cloudstone Curios loops. Buchan's list isn't running it. I think in his testing, he found that his configuration worked well for his meta, but that is an option. And then you've got this nice layered thing with these Eternal Witness loops where you can just like recycle a Gamble, recycle a Finale. Just lightning bolt everybody to death. Beast within everybody's stuff if you're on a budget. Like the deck budgets pretty well because you're in Naya, so you're not in blue. You don't have to worry about all the blue interaction. Naya actually has a lot of really good, like cheaper lands that you can use on a budget while you scale up. And then also you get to run cool stuff like Metamorphosis to just sack whatever creature you want and then use it to tutor, and then use Rocco to tutor out the next part. It's pretty sweet. So like getting the bases of the deck is pretty easy. So it's got a very nice like linear floor. It's got some challenges because you don't always have like, you don't have like an onboard sack outlet all the time. So that can be a little bit of a challenge, but that's okay. Not every deck is perfect, and it will teach you how to navigate to those wins. And then since you're able to so readily tutor out the combo pieces, it allows you to focus on addressing your mulligans. It addresses your, knowing like your windows for interaction. And then since you're not in blue, your interaction suite's a little more limited. So you don't necessarily have to worry about interacting on your opponents as much, other than to advance your own game plan. Like you don't have counter spells to stop people from doing stuff. You let the blue players handle it. You know, you just blow up the stacks piece you need to win or whatever, like the Torpor Orb or the Drannith or something. You know what I'm saying? And then you also get access to things like Drannith and Archon of Emeria if you need it. I think overall, it being a new Capenna card, there's a lot of hype around it, but I also think it's really, really good. And I think Buchan did a really good job with this list. I did play a few games with it on Trice with some people. It did really well. Like, I really liked it. It's not a heavy stacks deck, but it definitely punches hard, and it can execute its game plan very streamlined. Do you have any questions?
Yes, actually, I was thinking about one. You were saying you were comparing it to Cody. Would you think this deck would be like a great starter for somebody who wants to get into Cody?
No, not at all.
No? Okay.
No. Oh, what I meant by when I said it's like Cody was just that, like, you now have, like, where Cody has ad nauseum in the command zone in the form of play Cody, activate, get Profane Tutor, get Bring to Light, get ad naus.
Mm-hmm.
This is Dockside and Emil in the command zone.
That's fair. That makes sense. Okay.
That's what I meant. And that's why I said I was probably a little hyperbolic with it.
Yeah.
But I do think that the deck is, not only is it neat, like a neat deck, I think in 6 months from now, this deck will be putting up numbers if it picks up in popularity.
See, that's the thing, is that, like, that's another thing, is that, like, a lot of these decks that we see that are super new, like this one, or like the Gavi when she first came out, it's like everyone's like, it's going to be the next best thing, and then it doesn't happen, right? But with the way you're describing this, I genuinely think that this is going to be like one of the next bigger commanders, and that's good because we've been needing something to kind of break up the monotony of the meta.
I think that it will perform. I think it will perform relatively well. Like, I mean, Magda's been putting up numbers. And Magda's also a tutor in the command zone. And I think that that's very much kind of akin to this. Now, you don't have the instant speed lines as readily available as you do with Magda, because Magda, you just put her in play, and as long as you have your 5 treasures. But I think having access to 2 more colors is an advantage. I'm super excited to really see how this deck, like, progresses. But I think this is a really good start. And I think that anybody who picks this list up will get good numbers pretty easily and pretty quickly with it, and it will improve as their skill improves.
Yeah, because the value of it is just insane. Because, like you were saying, it's a Dockside in the command zone, and it's like, no matter what you open, whatever you tutor with her, it's going to complement your hand. You know what I mean? As long as you can, and that's something that I think is a really, really easy or really hard for new players to get, is like, what can I do that's going to complement my hand and progress me? And she makes it easier.
Basically, your commander plus any of the creature tutors in the deck will assemble a win. Like, that's pretty good. So if you can cast Rocco for whatever half you need, and then you have another creature tutor to get the other half, at that point, you can make infinite mana. It's pretty reasonable to assume that you have a way to reset Rocco. I think that about wraps it up. So, again, please hit that like, share, subscribe. Leave your comments, your questions below. And all of the resources and our Patreon will be linked in the description. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.